thao sông khao yo bay hay nắng mong sông cho mong ta sông khao tê tê mong lo ba chia bay nhau trên chúa đâu ya lo dễ chân nó ý đã yo cho nhau từ xin trâu sông chia đã cha tia si sâu cứ sâu đi ua kê mong ý sông chú mua ý sâu
Okay. Nhớ rằng tôi lên từ ở trong đầu mấy trình độ công việc mano nè, mano về chắc ăn chỉ mấy ý rằng gì để trong sa ăn chỉ mấy tôi lên từ, để nó cú luôn bây giờ Jennifer Hiong, của họ lựa chọn Lumon Center, nhớ họ luôn trong Merced, California. Lumon Center nó New York, ilu công hảo lu bang, khởi bề mong tiết kế ô kiến nó, ha bề sang còn bề cho mong chỉ tự kế vạn mình chủ yếu tận đấy. Để mano bây giờ halumong halumika để thọ mấy rằng lúc chỉ cho bây giờ ta bây giờ đang chỉ thứ là giờ mấy chỉ tao để mấy hạt cho bây bao hú cho bây là xong đời cho bây đời cái lúc Facebook nữa để mano bây giờ mua khủng bố cho lên cho tụ họ để cũng có cho là nó cho họ instructions nữa giờ họ ta mấy bạn share ý ra là giờ mấy tag để tụ phong yêu rồi giờ mình nhớ YouTube về mình sau email mình cho mình cho phong yêu sau cho blog link để mình hạt cho biết bao mình fill out biết có contact form nữa để bên màเลยshare có contact form mà mua cho công bố cho mình bên mua cho để thâu chỉ link sao okay so if you're the first 5 people then you're going to fill out that contact form but make sure you follow the instructions first okay. So it's, share once and tag 3 friends. If you're on YouTube, email 4 friends. And then also make sure you fill out that contact form that our assistant will be posting onto the Facebook and YouTube comments, okay? All right, okay. That's no te mono, be more up to financial coach, advisor. Bo ya la ya hata bo hu ta o la lo, shen ya za. Bo有躺住一只哈有帮边蒙居就给完命就养等的力量个边蒙操专业了的个 program no on the no 比有叫一度叫那葫芦中的是 California no 没东京你一下了后比如 episode number 1你要南接像你要一度个帮摸说着比较蒙要湖是 California 呢的你有我个 presentation to the state of Hmong socioeconomics and social mobility in Central Valley. The presentation on New York to be Hmong Lune Nyala Central Valley. The Takani on presentation download Kumale Mong Bao Mong Jo Betu moderator Blong Numale Jope Lucy Hamojo Nyatan Lenju Betu panelists not. Biết từ panelist nung nó thì do xử lý cho ha bao xong ha do Dr. Yang á, okay để nên tôi nhập lại của cho một bảo một chỗ nằm gì nữa, okay.
Hi, nhớ rằng bây giờ cái tin cha sẽ đa là nó vừa nằm dưới trong ở chỗ Lumon Center chờ của tôi make a presentation lấy China thì so the China thì chỉ cho bây giờ là chỉ cho cái ok là khả năng cái khác thì bây giờ sẽ bây cái nó cái hậu nhớ cha cho hồ California thì sự vấn đề bây giờ một sự thả nó có hay đó nên bao thì họ cũng present là sự hay nó là chỉ based on ko pe cho xiong o holu pa to pe cho mong sa nhẹ ya to Central California which to reflect other way la hai professional data out there the sheikh na ya pe cho internal data pe collect pe cho social economic mobility among ya to Central Valley so o chon dao and the pe yo shali pe dai slide zu to ha ku mo le China thi sin le ke ko mu kan do rao okay thì bây giờ cần cho thì có social economic mobility bây giờ mong community nhất ở Central Valley nó dùng để lưu heartbeat bây giờ lịch trả lại cho lịch trả bây giờ tập project chỉ cho nó là bây bỏ cái đây thì chế ổn đây next slide chế ổn đây li bé yo chủ tao hạt tiệt bé cái nó cái hậu rong li trả nhớ trâu sinh California bé chủ tao hạt tiệt nhớ California nó bé cái nó cái hậu lu sinh non rong li trả này bao tiệt agro business nhớ trâu sinh California là một trâu họ bên sẽ đại phiền thi nó này bao tiệt California chỉ lu sinh California ya lu thị chi one of the largest economy in the world okay? Thì nhớ trong Central California có gì orange đó nè thì bây giờ ít họ và cho anh trong và play critical role là gì giờ cho anh trong và cái county và nhớ cho housing California nó và mua cái lao lụa trong chấp là bắt đầu facing chỉ hậu tích trong cả sự tự lưu country thế et puis la site Central California nó này bao tiền bây giờ họ see orange to see pay generate about $12 billion with the B annually thế cho bank là sự thằng khác nhất họ nó generate about $9 million each quarter mà pay lý sư thì xin em muốn sai trong cái tiền pay chân nhiên tàu li nó thì xin uli trả pay họ cho the poorest community in the whole United States thì có muốn sai tiền nhất họ Central Valley nó chỉ cho powerful player cho nên bao tiền cho agribusiness nhất trong nó đại phần thi nó cái thi để bảo lúc farming đó chỉ cho agribusiness đó cho very powerful muốn nhớ chấp là thi giờ cho land owner này bao tiền private property này cho để bảo cái slide từ the private property thì chỉ muốn tàu chấp là thì họ thi pay này cho water chỉ cho owner cho water irrigation cái chân cho đây là cho part of it cho farms cái chân đây cho powerful and farm bureau which is to sai chủ tận top cho agriculture nhất cho California Central Valley thì khati chi nó là cái Central Valley Association of Realtor chân đây là more power handling because any new subdivision development là chỉ cho developer nó là cái là more a lot of political cloud thì là you move and shape cho cái nó cái hậu nhất ở Central Valley. Next thing, both in the whole Merced County, pay the most employment in the whole Merced County, not just foster farm, nhà ilu uang cái nếu mà cho yo cho plow pa to employee, inu nó sư nữ là tua cái cho li cho bùa cho xa bùa pa to cái inu nó chỉ nên bao tiền là generate millions of dollars là cho lu county nó you have to private organization là chỉ là một tổ chức foundation nhất tổ farm business now and of course the about the nhất tổ dairy farms yeah it's our biggest contributor to nhất tổ in California nó dairy mà đào hàng lên thì about the cho nó là critical player cho nó cho muốn nhớ chấp lại nhất tổ hồ in California là chỉ hồ Bay Central Valley thì chỉ cái cho chúng ta sẽ là generate $12 billion every year là nhớ cho based in Central Valley nó based trong doanh nghiệp cha vấn đề based tao nó thì based một sai được họ slide next slide thì họ slide này based tao thì vấn đề based bao nhiêu based doanh nghiệp hành lên nhớ cho California nó này bao nhiêu nếu mà significant impact cho based cho social economic mobility among community okay thì based bao nhiêu tại based cho sự based số thứ này thì gì cho phình bùa cho mong chừng nhau có là hỗ trợ poverty federal poverty level and deploy cho all pa ý xong là hỗ medium income thì cho nên nó cho chừng trong và bây giờ mong nhau Central Valley chừng cho nhẹ hàng lên để gì cho phình bùa nó chỉ chừng đau hàng lên go pay percent này cho a working class okay muốn đi thì teachers là một bus drivers cho make over 42,000 yes so or teacher or professor cái more majority of professional job thế thì chúng mà thành trong thì trong đây cho pay under supervision by other people pay chia tụ này nó mà bia thì pay chúng mua hỗ trợ lúa thì lúa chúng không pay thì chúng mà we are happy where we are thì cái next one là cái 8% da pay khăn đó là cái nhiều khoa ya make tao li upward chỉ cho pa ý xong nó là cái cho consist bây giờ businessman là một trò bây giờ ô hô lử xia ô này mẫu lo là chỉ cho anh chỉ ở sẽ là ô hô lử tàu nhiên tàu như thế cho nên cho những cái 1% chứ thì họ contribute cho bé họ social mobility nó chỉ nên bảo cho bé từ từ 1990 và cho 2010 nó chỉ all generation nó chỉ bé all decade bé lose béจะ used to mass incarceration chỉ bé bỏ tôiจะbé cho tu chọn sai phần trong trâu cờ ta là all generation ở cho tôi nên gọi chung bé tu nhau bé cho nó thế chỉ ta nó thọ áp phải gì đó nó chỉ bé mà sát cho họ foreclosure crisis gì lúc chế mà ilu nó ở foreclosure into Central Valley chế out of cho ý cho gì lúc chế đó là chế xa out of 10 bây giờ mong đi cho foreclose bây giờ property là bây giờ home là chế has a significant impact on bây economic status. Okay, next slide. Chế giờ lên đó bây bao thì bây tôi tập lối chút chi xong nó nhớ tới cái chăm cả nó bây bộ vạn mình a lot of people say bây vạn mình là hòn đau thì chỉ ta lấy bây qua chúa là chế bây mong chừng chỉ tao vạn mình giàu cái cho họ phần trong chừng cho chừng nhớ under poverty nếu mà sai tiền nhớ cho họ tu họ bị chữ để tu nông nhớ cho họ lúc kê cho sự lúc miệng quan đó bây tôi cho thấy channel nó là chế đừng gọi là mình cho cái mua cái ta lại chế bây cho cái ta lênนี่เป้าจะตุนนงเนี่ยจะเขาลุงกวนมานี่ยิ่งยาเตาเหลือยันในขี้จะมียาเหลือเหลือแต่ชี้ยันในมุกเกินหนึ่งเตะเท่าเหลือนะเจเท่าในขี้หล่อหนึ่งยามันนี้จะการหล่อเก่าจะรู้กวนเด้อนะเจไปมองจงยาลินเด้อปีเจือเตียเนี่ยจะไปที่ทำการนะจะรู้แต่ไม่ขอ system of barrier systematic challenges จะไปจะเนี่ยสิทีนี้เป้าจงจะไปจะเราวันนั้นเนี่ยเสีย SSI là chỉ mua bình sự yo cho nhẹ cha le offer hồ định giờ là cho cha offer là nó chỉ là disqualify offer nó mà combination là chỉ mua chỉ cho là ok nó chỉ bu cha offer cái nút thì là bỏ tao thì các muốn nhẹ cha offer là chỉ là một có thể chỉ nhẹ được cả đó là họ cho temporary aid for needy family nó chỉ legislative có pass offer của plau nó thì các chỉ thống một cha li chỉ cho bộ chỉ phá giờ thì có một cha có họ asset combination là chỉ combine một cha lại chua phá chỉ bộ là này cái disqualify thì giờ nó chỉ mua a lot of education cho là part of it cho nên chỉ lack of education resources cho là part of it cái tạo tạo hay cho system nó chỉ bây giờ chừng cho nhẹ rồi hay thì as a result okay thì bây giờ mua high increase of home invasion robberies cho lúc cổ li cho lúc cổ li thì vì hạt tiệp ấy cho nên chỉ chọn nhẹ là chỉ là cú sạc mình chỉ nhẹ because là nó under là khởi mình nó chỉ là sạc chỉ nhẹ cho hậu chế thì bây giờ cho jury đâu chế bây chỉ believe thì bây chọn family thì chọn bank sẽ bây trust cho là thế chúng ta nó thọ bây sẽ chỉ nhẹ là chúng mình nhẹ là thọ bây nó chỉ it's very inconvenient cho là thế chúng mình khó support cho là cái vì là chỉ bảo lưu nó chỉ ta sẽ nói chỉ giờ nó bây giờ li bỏ tàu thì cái chuyện như chia vậy còn nhiều hay rồi bây giờ lâu thì bây giờ nhiều khó tua bây giờ nó anh chuyện như chia chuyện như nhiều anh chị cũng tiếc bỏ thì giờ nó còn nói là có cost và bây giờ more high increase of home invasion robbery cho lúc cầu li cho có li thế này bỏ thì bây giờ họ giờ lúc cầu li cho có li cho họ lúc chuyện này lúc bây nó bây giờ ok bây nó mong bây giờ thì lúc chuyện đó thì bây giờ tạo trả bỏ lại thì phần đầu thì bây giờ muốn chọn nhiều cho tạo chế thì đầu lại từ tua không bây là chỉ muốn chọn nhiều tạo thì khi at the end nó cũng cho sao thì bây giờ nhà tổng project chỉ xong nó bây giờ system chỉ tạo change cho là ba mong luôn mong tiêm mong chỉ tạo more power cho là khó để cái trái nó có bây nó cả hậu hụt tổng project chỉ xong nó bây giờ chọn nhẹ là bây giờ chọn nhẹ sẽ đâu lì lại ok thì tôi chọn đâu nên luôn mong đâu invite cụ thể look forward to bây giờ financial literacy program cho tận đây hopefully là những món tàu tây giả và actually advice cho bắt đầu bây giờ nhiệt gì và nên sao hạt tiêu bây giờ bây giờ sẽ tận nhiệt tận đây chọn đâu
chọn đâu là giờ cái chuyện đó còn bé mong nó ha cái chuyện lưu mà những chuyện chén cần cầu cho bé mong nè thì ở chỗ ok但是我哋比如有冇保律師項目做俾做 moderator 下俾個 panelist 比如冇保冇做唔弄啦弄哋佢有冇個做佢哋個 screen 俾個嘛咧俾下個做咯 Don't don't go to Naka. So, don't go to Naka. So, okay. Okay. Hạ áp lưu sẽ cái Naka na. Don't go to Naka le. Yaka ka hu kulu phong. Te pu kalu pu kalu kalu screen ko te shi don't go to Naka rong na. Te ja ku shi kulu phong na. Te ka ma le hu na. Okay. Te ja me kalu se kan.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, yeah. I don't know. Cũng chết turn on the mic this year down.
Te ja ka mun. Oh, okay. Don't go chỉ bùm long là ha. Cái biết tao mình chỉ na thật gì na. Bây giờ mua biết cho panelist cho on her. Cho cụ cho xử lý.
Is that better?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, I turn off the computer mic.
Okay.
And I turn off the computer speaker so that it doesn't echo. So
Okay, thank you.
anyway, let's see. I don't send out a group of only when you have to help Fresno, California on the next group. A lot of people say from Minnesota, they go have like in the to Los Angeles, the USC, and then that they go have so you know, when you have Fresno, not the Nats of the Nala. It's only the Schneider go actually, not to have Facebook profile, my go yeah, Facebook is my LinkedIn profile, which I'm update the go. Cô khá và thái độ văn chỉ là lên đó là tất nhiên mà tất nhiên là cô consult cho áp lưu còn họ nằm phải nhất là thật chậm nó sẽ cô phá lời show grant trên kia và nhập cá nên là chỉ cô học được cho áp lưu finance company phá cho cô làm được tất nhiên là lời làm được là phá lời development of business plan đó phá lời là cho financial projection nên còn lời cô làm được một tàu nàyที่ขอฟังแค่คือว่าคือแข่งในเจว่ากูยังตัว delegate เขาตอนท่าจะต้องไม่ป้าว่า delegate เนี่ยตัว president นะพอหมู่ตัวปฏิไทยเต็มติดท่านก็บอกหมู่สัมภาษณ์จะมั่งปีเจี๊ยบเจป้าเลยเชื่อว่าแล้วตัวชาติที่ชนะไปป้าเลยลิจ่าแต่กูยังเชื่อแต่กูตัวยังตัว delegate หมู่กองขนาดเทียให้ชาว family นะเจกูยังมั่ว family แล้วใส่พอมั่ว family เนี่ยเขาเนาะกูเขียนยังมั่วเล่าในกูมาเป็นจมูกเนี่ย so ถ้าไม่จะกูเขา get involved with finances like that you know my journey into finances ตัวกูกันได้ตายกูเล่าถึงเป็นpersonal นะเจ้ากูหลังจากว่าจุดประโยชน์ว่าพอยากนะแต่bởi vì nhà nhà này sẽ bao nhiêu cái nhưng mà mortgage company của họ nói gì họ lựa chọn kia thì họ lựa chọn cái của họ gặp họ là financing so real estate ba chân năng thiệt nhiều thì chân năng được chế thế này thì tất cả những cái của họ mua lựa chọn là EOC Personal Economic Opportunities Commission cho lu make a whole Refugee Micro Enterprise Development Program, nhất cho họ EOC, ba đời của dân năng refugee và tua giờ đi chạy tua này, ba đời cho nên cái lan rồi. So anyway, quick about good thing you in the What share donate Japan or introduce them to Kangalai.
I guess I'll go ahead and get started. Galumba Ihua Shelly Cha. Guya. Okay, are we better? Okay, awesome. Gunya de Ho, Fresno, California. No, I'm married. I have 2 kids, and we can classify as I'm also a consultant, financial wealth strategy consultant, and then I'm also a business and real estate investor as well. Something unique about me is I love to travel. So that's one of my dreams, is to be able to work and travel together. And hopefully I'll accomplish that pretty soon here in the coming years. Why I do what I do in finance and in business and in real estate is because I think that brought us here, and because of that, we were always instilled with the inspiration to do better. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're here today is how do we help those that, whatever stage in life that they're in, how do we help them do better in their finances? So that's a little bit about me and who I am. So.
I can go next. Hi, everyone. This is Bao Zhang, and I'm going to do it in English because my Hmong is not that great. I can answer some questions in Hmong, but I'm going to do it in English because I know if I do it in Hmong, all of it, I'm going to butcher it. So my name is Bao Zhang, and like a lot of Hmong millennials, I was born in Thailand and then came to the States with my parents when I was about 7 years old. And like Nachia was sharing earlier, my family settled in the Merced area, and my parents were just struggling to just get by. So the idea of building wealth, never even entered my mind until I was well into adulthood, right? In my late 20s. And so I really spent the bulk of my 20s struggling financially, both as a mom and a wife, because I got married quite young. I got married right out of high school and then had my 2 sons shortly after. And so, as you can imagine, right, being a broke college student who's trying to raise a family in a very expensive area here in Sacramento, how challenging that was. And so I spent, 10 years really kind of struggling financially, trying to find a way to get out of poverty, right? So it took me a good, I would say, about 6 or so years to get the education that I needed, to get the skills that I needed, to get the experience that I needed to really get a job and generate an income that was like a living wage where I could provide for my family. So just a quick story there about my background. I'm really honored to just be a part of this panel today, to join, all of these really accomplished brothers and sisters, to share some financial knowledge that I've gained over the years, both as a mom and as a wife and a business owner and a working professional. So really honored to be a part of this panel today. Paul, we can't hear you. Not yet.
Right. So, how có cái thông số sẽเป็นnó có
Okay. Usually you have more technical difficulty. I can't really hear from the we're going to go ahead and proceed with some of the questions that I have from the panelists. These questions are not directed at anyone in particular, so any of you that wants to take a shot at answering that question, I welcome you to just do that, okay? The first question is, what do you think Hmong families are worried about and what keeps them up at night? Hmong have been getting the name Hmong và nơi xa thì giờ đó chị giờ ở đây nó share được cái chuyện nhỏ này.
Cũng là một cái con. Nhớ rồi chuyện này thì cái đến trang sự là của giáo Reverend Dr. Paul Joseph Henry Yang đó, của nhớ trâu lung trong Stockton. Hay sự xuất cái lút lút thì của lút lút nhớ trâu lung trong Fresno. Còn dù sự thảo lúc cho nhiều cái bên thảo lút lút thôi nè. Em xuất cái một trường nào hay chỉ bộ ở lao tế chẳng đâu cú bỏ lại trang là vô tâm một lệ sự lương. Vô tâm một lệ sự grace. Lúc này mình sau nhảy càng cao lên thảo xuất cái lút lút thôi cho họ ta. Vì ta chỉ muốn nhạt xa. Chỉ muốn xuất cái sau cái chế. Chỉ muốn xuất cái lút lút sự cái vạn mình.แต่กูสุเกลูกๆจนเลยหันตาแต่กูสละจัดเสียชาแต่เมื่ออินโนคือกูสีเป็นหมู่โอเต้เล็กๆสีเหลืองก็จะทุ่งอย่างๆหอกูสละจัดเสียชาอยู่กูดูแข่งตาเชื่อกูอยู่โอลุ้นในโอเมื่อเกลสีเหลืองหมู่โอลาโอเต้นนเชื่อกูอยู่โอจิตเตากูอยู่จิตเตาโอทั้งชีเสาซึอย่างนั้นชีคือเสาหอนั่นหมายชีสุเกคือก่อนดาวไอ้อยู่สละคือมัวย่างมัวซ่าฮะอยู่สละมัวสุเกลูกๆให้สุเกฝ่ายไม่ยอดจะเลยได้ใช้ในการเนาะ要กู有我了，กู是我，กู有我知道。แต่กู有主，我那大了，กู是来有 be a better person than my father。ไม่ใช่จิตใจสอนอย่างเลยคือกู是。เอ็นจะมีกู是จิตใจคือกู是เจ้าคือกู是หมดตัว到长，帮不着กูรู้เนี่ย是来用的是吗？กู想的要กู是都梦见到一天了，กู准备กู沙场กู是，梦着一天ที่อ้อ，แล้วกูจะมี用到准备沙场天ที่อ้อตัวอย่าง天ที่เป๊ะฮะ。เขาpassion ดูหาสู่คือตั้งตัวในสู่ตั้งยาซาเดี๋ยวกูรู้ในมาตามากูเผาตั้งลูกกูยังถูกกูซื้อฟื้นวะกูยังถูกซื้อกูซื้อฟื้นแต่เชื่อเอาชงเหล่านั่นแต่คือหนักกูโน่อีมืออีถึงยังมีโยbaby ตัวนั้นเบิร์กเก้าอี้นะ baby นั่นเก้าอี้แต่คือเนี่ยว่าอย่างเห็นแต่กูจะเลยชิมเขาเลยต้องช่างลูกหลีกูยังถึงพูดสารไฟแชปนกูปั้งตัวชาฮะ当就朋友知道个性就是 medical center， my pay is not bad， กูเทกูส่งเลยฮะแต่ชีช่างลูกเรียกูชิมเขาเลยนะไอ้กูเขา last paycheck last คือได้$1,000ซะนะแต่กูเสร็จสั่งตาเดี๋ยวกูมูเขาเลยเนี่ยเดี๋ยวกูต้องชี้จะ$1,000ซื้อกูอยู่นอกเลยจังกูอยู่เลยจังกูงานวันได้เฉยเลยจังกูจะปั้งกูจะมีตู้มีอยู่ซื้อกันอยู่เลยจังแต่กูไม่ตัวตู้มันก็ first year medical studentอีช่วงนี้ที่จบ so we look into our financial ministry กูอยากตั้งไปเลยจัง so that's my passion กูตั้งอีกก็ที่ในช่างชุดเราส่วนด้านนั้นจ้า so อย่างคือโอ้ตัวไปอีกช่วงนั้นสิก็ที่ในช่างกูสั่งแต่ไปปูจิโชว์อย่างมองดูเนอะไอ้ไปเพ่งเช้าให้ไปปูจิโชว์อยู่นั่นสิกูสั่งแต่เขาอยู่ช้าเขาแต่แล้วเนี่ยจ้าสิเนี่ย everything แล้วเนี่ยจ้าสิอย่าไปชิมเนี่ยจ้าแต่ไม่有感到了已经有没上报招这少了种个边那让那毛了有用被有长路了快个是了都有用都是当然到下路去了下的是被小好难是了都有伢了哈被有了讲 so 我想that what keeps you know the Hmong community up at night like business to is 伢子
Okay, watch on that. So the next question is, what do you think has kept the Hmong community from being financially successful? And I knew that that's nhân định này kinh xã nữa. Thế là what the mong muốn kiếm luôn nữa. But mà xíu thằng người biết thấy mình chỉ được tiếp người thì kế cỡ. Thế mà đôi người kế cỡ cần tới nữa nè. Và mua là I like to hear from Shelley. Then especially Shelley, you're a business consultant. You've done a lot of business projects. You've invested in a lot of business projects. I think the public would like to hear from you.
Sure, definitely. I'll answer this in English. And so, I think one of the things that I find in people that I've worked with, Hmong people, including myself and families and friends that I know, is that, we have there's this cultural belief that we don't talk about money. We don't talk about investment. It is private. It is between you and your spouse. So whether you're struggling financially or you're very wealthy, you don't show it to anybody because it is private. And I think this is one of the key reasons as to why we are not financially successful, even though we've been here for 45 years. Yes, there are a lot of people out there that are very successful, but there are also a lot of people that are still struggling. And I think because we don't talk about problem, we don't seek for more knowledge, we don't seek for mentorship, and we don't educate. All we know is just what we know. We're not looking for help. So I think that's one of the reasons, in addition to the lack of knowledge, and seeing that our parents don't have that financial knowledge because they didn't have money. And at the same time, our school system doesn't teach about money management. So we are actually in a big disadvantage for that very reason. And then on top of that, we have this cultural belief that we don't talk about our finances. So I think that is something like an underlining cause that is instilled in each Hmong individual. And I think we need to step and overcome that in order to achieve financial independence, or in order to achieve wealth. So
Thank you. Paul, would you like to add?
Yeah, I can just add really quickly, and I think that Dr. Paul and Shelley really touched on sort of some of the root causes for why Hmong individuals and families haven't been able to do well financially, right? And that's not to say that there are not folks who are doing well financially. The question was just, why is it that some are not? And I think it's sort of multi-pronged, right? There's definitely like individual issues, and that has to do with like individual habits and beliefs, and cultural beliefs that can play into that as well. And I think what we also have to acknowledge on the other side is like systematic issues and policies that don't support Hmong individuals to build wealth. I mean, there's language barriers, there's systems barriers, as Shelley mentioned. Financial well-being, financial management is not taught in schools, and for the most part, the materials that are produced by whether it's the government or consumer-based organizations or banks, whatever it may be, it's certainly not in the kind of language that Hmong folks may not know English very well to easily understand. And so if you don't even understand the material that's being produced, like you don't understand what a savings account is, you don't understand what an interest rate is, you don't understand that there's fees associated with certain kinds of investment vehicles, then you're already at a disadvantage. So I just wanted to point out that yes, there are certainly individual things that are keeping folks from building financial wealth and well-being, but there's also systematic issues as well.
Long, can I add something?
Yeah.
You consider what you could prevent Hmong from becoming financially successful as we don't manage our money, but we let money manage us. We,你中的可能，大众讲了佢大，比起我好留多年數，但是比起做比較年我好留多比，但可能是幾少件事，係咪大比偏我好留多年數，但相對嚟比nhỏ比嚟高了呢？但是要睇比較到都注意嘅大，比有做收入比較年我好留多比，我哋最後比不做做同樣長度了咯，比較年我好留多比，但可能一路注意佢比做到高數，係比做到保數。
Okay, ini boleh ya soal nanti mari ya. ก่อนนี้สุดที่dia what is jadi jadi itu hal tahu depan mana, okay? But let's save that question towards the end. And Gina muje wa be identify apa kata memang dia okay. What is be cili muje belum nu na. Ya leader be ya long ya be ya call ya be or what should be avoid to be better at managing money to be more financially successful.
I guess I'll take on the question first. I think that one of the things that in order for us to move beyond this is, first of all, us as an individual, and if you're married, you and your spouse, both of you need to be on the same page and make that commitment that you want to be in a particular financial situation, in a place in life. And I think when you make that commitment, and both of you are on the same page, you start reading books, you start listening to podcasts, you start educating yourself, you start building, setting goals. And a lot of times I think maybe the wife does it or the husband does it or both don't do it, and you can't get yourself past that point. So it seems like you're kind of in the same rat race where you're going to work, getting paid, going to work, getting paid. You're not stepping outside of that. So I would say that that would be the first thing. Is I think it's making that commitment. It's a change in the way you think, and making that commitment, getting your spouse on board on the same page, and then taking that next step by getting yourself educated and setting some goals.
And I can add to that. I think that there's also like generational differences, right? And like why certain generations can't build wealth. Yes, we come from the same, background in terms of being long, but I will tell you, my financial challenges look very different from like my parents, right? They're very disciplined in terms of their saving because I mean they're used to just not having a lot, so it's kind of young, right? So I'm like that's something that I give kudos to the older generation in terms of their discipline to save money. Now, because we're so disciplined in saving money, because so you don't want to risk anything to lose 1 cent. One thing my mom always said to me is, if you see a coin on the ground, like, pick it up because it's money, right? Whether it's like 5 cents, 10 cents. And at some point in my life, I was like, I told you a penny, but that's the difference, right? There is a generational difference. And then I would say that, the older generation, again, they're really good at saving, but it's that it's I think many of them lack the knowledge to be able to make that money work for them, like Paul was saying. It's we keep our money, safe somewhere under a mattress or somewhere. And then of course inflation, right? So then our money's actually losing value over time. And so we're not building wealth with our money. For younger folks, I would say that one of the bigger challenge is just trying to keep up with all your neighbors and your friends. And it's this idea of just like consuming to look like you've made it in life. So it's buying, upgrading your house constantly, upgrading your car constantly, buying, luxury goods when you really can't afford it and you're doing it on credit cards. So I think it's, I think some of those are some of the challenges that I see with the younger generation. It used to be keeping up with the Joneses, and now it's like keeping up with the Kardashians.
Okay, I don't know about the rest of you, but I have a little bit of a problem hearing Bao, so I don't know if maybe you should speak closer to the mic or something. I don't know what's going on. So I was hoping that I can follow you and then have some follow-up questions. But in any case, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next question. Is in English, it's what way can families supplement their income? What would you recommend a family of 7 with young children do when they are struggling month to month already? Nói tao nghe cha đi tao à tao được nó giờ tôi cần đi cái này áo liền không lười sức thì sao thế thì giờ tôi cha đi đi tao nghe làm phá rồi gì chuyện làm gì tao nói dù cái không còn đâu dù gì chuyện nó lo dù cái nghe được sao xí vậy giờ liền đó giờ tôi cha thì đi phá tao dù dù mong nhận cho tao là áo plan này vậy.
Long, I think that is a really great question. I just want to check my tech. Are you hearing me okay? Okay, good. So I think, when we talk about like investing, if you don't have the money, it's going to go right over your head. If you don't have the money to invest, someone wants to talk to you about investing, whatever the product may be, like you're not going to hear that conversation because you don't have the money to start with. I think when you're really struggling, and I've been there, right? Like I've been there a good chunk of my youth and my young adult years, really struggling financially. I think what's really important as a first step is to know what's coming in terms of your income and to get a really good idea of what's going out. So what are your expenses looking like month to month? And if your income is like barely enough to cover expenses, perhaps you may need to cut down on some of your expenses. But really, if at the end of the day, you're not bringing in enough income to even pay for your big necessities and like living expenses month to month, one of the things is invest in yourself, right? Invest in yourself in terms of going and getting an education, getting job training. There's a lot of trade jobs now where you don't need a four-year degree. You can do a lot of other jobs without, the expense of going to college or like setting aside 2 or 3 years to go get an AA or BA. But one idea is really to invest in yourself, your education, your training, so then you can go and get a higher paying job. So that will boost your income. And then if don't, you're not constantly sort of upgrading your life, then you'll be okay. At least you'll be able to sustain your family for the time being. But of course, once you're able to do that, the goal is always to save and then eventually invest like you can.
And I want to add to that not only the education part is great, but there are also a lot of side businesses that our families can look at. I with the pandemic, I saw a boom in online, even Facebook live selling business, as we all know. And so I think people are, if you're in a tough situation and you're unable to make ends meet, be creative, step out and take on a side business. Everybody has a talent, that I think, a skill that they can sell, and how do you package that to sell? And one of the things that I joke around with some friends, that I so admire, a lot of the folks that we see at the street, like that are on the corner selling fruit cups or selling roses or selling something, teddy bears for Valentine's Day, because they're stepping outside of their normal daily job. If they do have one, some might not, but they're stepping out and trying to make a living off from the side business. And I think that that is one of the things that our community needs to do as well. Not only, I know our parents taught us to just go to school and find a job, but I think that at some point the job only provides you so much security. If you really want financial freedom, wealth, you need to step out of that and start a business and do more. And so that will be my encouragement to those of you out there that are thinking about, how do I make ends meet, and I'm working 8 hours or I'm working 2 jobs already. Step outside of the box and think about starting a side business. But first, look at, what are you good at? What can you sell? What talent, what skill do you have that you can sell out there? And I'm sure everybody has something that they can sell and make an extra side income from. So
that's awesome. Even just having a garage sale or something like that is going to help. Okay, so the next question, we touched on this already. Some of you have spoken to it, but want to formally just ask, what is the first step towards financial well-being? And, for those of you who may not have had the education in this country, or even if you do, as some of you alluded to, it's not taught in school. So, and those of you who are on campus, advise public on subject a bit more.
Came up with the first step, you become financially well-being now. Muốn nói tới sao cái bé nhà yếu khổng bé nhà mô cứ muốn nhà sĩ trô lưỡi dạng bé nhà muốn nhà sao bán lô lưỡi lưỡi tụแต่ชื่อ Bây giờ muốn nhà 好，那么一拉呢，แม่พวกค่าตาถ้ามีเยอะ
Okay, so does anybody else want to take a stab at this before we move on?
Yeah, I want to add something to that real quick. One of the concepts that I teach people is what I call net positive, meaning the first step in really moving forward is making sure that you have enough money at the end of the month, like a savings. You have extra money, you're net positive. And so that you can save that money, because without having, if what you bring in, let's say you bring in 1,000 and you spend 1,000, you're living month to month. And so you have to have at least $1 extra at the end of every month. And I think that that's really where the first step for everyone, because when you see that extra dollar next month, you'll have $2. The following month, you'll have $3. And then all of a sudden, you're excited. You're like, wow, I have $3 left in my bank account. And now you're more motivated to save more. And before you realize, you're in the momentum to saving. And I think that that's where it all starts. It sounds so little, and some people may say, oh my gosh, it's just $1. That doesn't go far. But it's again coming back to the mentality, is putting yourself in that mentality that you need to save and you need to just spend for the necessities, and don't buy that extra cup of coffee every day, or don't have dinner every other night. It's how do you trim yourself so that you feel that saving, because that saving is what's going to get you on to the next step. I think people fail because they never get to build that savings, and they get into this loop of living month to month. And so that I think we all need to. It's called cash management, and Val mentioned that is how do you manage your cash flow on a month-to-month basis so that you have a net positive at the end of the month. So.
Okay, I appreciate that. Dr. Gandhi, sorry, but we lost you for a little bit. You want to wrap up real quick?
Okay, I'll try the word that lecture just now. Nếu muốn nhanh nó sẽ nó là cái bộ tài thọ là cái sự mô họ về hoặc là sự chỉ trò là sự cái sự ngoài sau về yếu tố thời ở nhà của họ rong là mà những một lần từ trâu nữa họ lấy in saving thì từ những môn là nó mà thời những môn chỉ tính mình lão nó mà từ sau lên kiếm nhiều sang tại vì tại vì ô trâu lấy là bị lúc gì lấy bé lúc gì thì mỗi cái result nhau cho nó là là cho một cái ô lì chẳng cho những họ lưu cái cái sản phẩm họ lưu cho nhà sao yêu chuẩn là cái chẳng sao họ lưu cho nó cái sự phát triển họ có yêu有什么用去的有知道某个就好，三都有，是吧？
Okay, so we're kind of losing Dr. Yang too. So I just wanted to summarize real quickly what I think what he's saying is that everybody out there should have 36 months of savings to cover your expenses, and one of the things that I wanted to also echo what Shelley was saying. Yes, you want to make sure you have net positive income at the end of the month. But I've always heard that you ought to just pay yourself first. So you set aside something for yourself already. Okay, if we should so but only that you might have you one day you think about it, okay, right? So that's a good idea. So we're coming up to about 5 minutes left. The last question I want to ask the rest of you has to do with earlier about the concept of making money work for you. So it goes back to investing. And my concept has always been, to save early and often. I did not practice what I'm preaching now, but I learned. I've learned that that's what everybody should be doing. And you need to invest early and often. You need to use the power of time and compound interest in your favor. You need to do that. And, most importantly, you need to invest in yourself, whether it's education or, saving money for yourself or your family. Now, what does it mean to invest, and how can we invest, especially, with limited resources and limited income? Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to add to what you said about investing early and often, right? And if you are working at a company that offers a 401k or 403b, and they happen to also provide a match, please contribute. At least contribute to the amount that you're going to be able to get that match for. Because that's one way. Like, you just don't want to leave money on the table. Somebody's offering you 5% of your salary for you to also do the same. That's money you're leaving on the table if you're not putting money into your 401k or your 403b. I think a lot of us have heard about that because when we get onboarded as an employee, HR typically tells us, like, we have, this investment option that you can opt into. What we typically don't hear about are like other investment vehicles, right? Because it's not just your 401k or your 403b. There's an option for like a Roth IRA, which has, a tax advantage in that your money is already taxed before you put it in. And so then when you take your money out, there's no tax on that. And so, if you happen to make a sizable profit with your initial investment, as long as you wait, the required time frame and then you take it out, you aren't taxed on that amount. So, the Roth is another great investment vehicle. There's, I think, Dr. Paul, his work within life insurance, we have to protect our families. And so that's another, that is another option in terms of like investment. And Dr. Paul knows a lot more about that, so I will touch on that. But there's just a lot of different investment vehicles. My husband and I happen to also have a business. And when Shelly was talking earlier about like, find your passion, find something you're good at, figure out what it is that you can potentially sell. Let me tell you, my husband worked on cars like as a teenager and just did it as a side gig, and then eventually found out like he can actually do it as a business, work in an auto shop. And so he does have a business doing that. So Shelly's right on. Like, there's so many different investment opportunities. I think that we don't know what we don't know, and we have to ask the questions.
Let me add to that I think there are four, in my opinion, there are four main type of investments out there. One, you invest in yourself. Two, you invest in the market, which is stocks, bonds, mutual funds, index funds, ETFs. Three, you invest in real estate. And four, you invest in business. And so to me, those are the four main investment categories out there. But to invest, you have to have money first. And so it goes back to what we talked about earlier, being net positive. If you don't have that cash, you won't be able to put that extra money that you have to invest in something. So it starts with building that extra pot of money and then selecting the type of investments that you want. So.
Hello, Shelly 喺度呢。tại vì giờ ta要保守 investment 喎，我要ta要保守 estate 我哋俾冇 invest 嚟錢用咧，只係俾錢包呢，俾用嚟賺係啊。但係俾咗一種人食嘅啲呢，就唔錯嘛，俾錢包นะ。แต่กูเขา expertise นะ嘛，又但又錢包แล้ว我哋คือไป tap into life insurance。life insurance มัน其中咧叫養等路咯，แต่ life insurance มัน又可以俾一個死人都要。แต่ with compound interest ก็ยังอยู่จอแต่ชิ้นน้อยใช่ไหมหนึ่งเบี้ยเราคนเราคนรู้เลยแต่อยู่จอจะเราซื้อแต่ชิ้นช่างเราเราแต่อยู่ต่ออย่างนั้นเราหรอกแล้วก็แต่จะ life insurance มัน work with definite fund and so อย่าแต่อยู่จะ invest เลยมั่วจะอย่างจอจะหูซื้อแต่อยู่ตัวแต่จะเขาเหลือเราปั้งตัวอยู่แต่ถ้าอยู่มากันเรากันเราเลยตัวมั่วจะอย่างมั่วเถียง nó phải là thời giờ vài giờ trẻ là dù chua tôi chẳng nhà bán biểu cứ vài giờ trẻ thời giờ retire là nó còn mình cho làm tôi yêu cái thời giờ chỉ một số sao lão nó là bây giờ có cứ generational income cho dù chẳng bị tụi mình nhiều ha cho nhà toàn đề là ha so the sooner you start is better and you just start to thời giờ là thời cứ bố trí tao là thì thời giờ biết tụi mình nhiều thời ít tụi mình nhiều cái nhà 0 year old là ít xong chứ but yourself or yourself find your life trying that the million each one can become $1 million baby.
Okay, there you go, folks. So I just want to summarize by saying that the experts here are telling you to save early and often. Use the power of compound interest and time to help you, and most importantly, invest in yourself. There are many methodologies to investing, from the market to real estate, insurance, to investing in businesses, and I'm sure things like Bitcoin and everything else in between. But your next biology, feel free to contact your expert now. I think Hmong Lu Center is willing to share their contact information to the public, and I encourage Nation to email your panel now. Lại một loại chỉ là trở lại trong sẽ tới này sẽ đại. So lý giải nó một chỗ trong này sẽ đại nè, okay? May you all be more successful than you are today. Thì bây giờ con turn over to Jennifer.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you so much, Otaku. Bây giờ panel ha moderator. Cho mình trình độ công ty mono như cái mà những dòng ha những trình kiến cùng cầu từ cái mong rồi dạng để cái sản chỉ thực tế bản mình để ở trong đó tụi ông bị chắc ăn chút của lại tụi ham đâm đầu chút mấy tấn cho nữa. Okay. Hi everybody. Yang trong chắc ăn xin chít cô trong sáng là cái chuyện mua cho cái thợ cái thợ bao tử nhạt trà cũng lúc đó lúc hạ ở bên lúc chụp bé cho mong trong sáng nữa. Trong bên nó thì cũng có tham dự hoặc là bé có mua khổng phụ chỗ mình á, okay? Bé có mua online ra chỗ mình hoặc là mình tu yang chụp bên để lên nó lại bé có cái raffle nữa.但是nó thì透過下nó thì mình cho mình luôn bé cho comments. Mình có chủ nhau vụ luôn trong Merced County nữa. Cho tìm đâu bé một chỗ bé cho khủng bố nó cho để tôi nhìn nhau tuần sau việc tính nhà nó luôn tới ít Congress nó phải để thọ mình rằng lúc chỉ bé ha có chính kiến về mình giờ ta mình tôi nhau để lên nó lại cho mình luôn bé ha có chủ sau mình luôn bé cho có contact form nữa để tôi mua có contact form cho trong đời cho comments lại để mình muốn trả để mình sau mình luôn bé họ这是cho cái nhóm để lên nó để cho mình luôn bé của chúng cho lúc spinning wheel na để bé over na, okay? Đó là của share của lúc screen cho mình na. Okay. Để của share của lúc screen nó cho mình á. So cụ sẽ mấy chọn đề thì cụ một cho cụ lúc spinning wheel nó nè thọ rằng lúc chỉ cho bé ha bé có một cho khủng bố nó cho tôi nhìn nhau hồ lúc mình Merced luôn trong Merced nó sư bé có một online ra ý liền rồi những ý lu ý nan ra giờ tại mấy những lợi thì mấy cho mấy luôn bé cho lúc contact form để bé mà lên contact mấy để mà họ ta có năng ra nó nhìn nhau lúc đó là từ để mình mà lên cho một khởi nữa, ok? Để cũng sẽ cho một lúc tự chỉnh nhau, rồi mình nhau để cho mình luôn để cho họ comment sẽ cũng cho mình luôn để cho lúc spinning wheel nó nữa, ok? Không có chỉ phụ lúc để cho phụ luôn để này. So if you guys are still on, we are doing a raffle now. So please put your name in the comments, and we will be putting it into the spinning wheel. You have to live in Merced County. To win this prize, we will be contacting you if you are a winner. Please, if you do win, put your contact information in the contact form that is pinned in the comments, and we will make sure we get to you. Okay. So we apologize again. This is only for Merced County families. This money comes from our grant, so we want to make sure that we stay in integrity with that. So please put your name into the comments, and I'm going to be putting it into the spinning wheel in a little bit. Okay. So I'm watching. I see. All right. I got Chewy. Okay. I'm gonna put your name in here. So I got Chewy. Okay. I got May. Hey, I'm gonna just abbreviate your name, okay? Your last name. Okay, let me see who else is on. I've got anybody else. If you are just on, we are collecting names to win a raffle. Let's see, to pick up a rice bag. Again, you must live in Merced County, okay? So if you don't live in Merced County, then unfortunately, we may have to forfeit your price. Okay, so let's see. Anybody else is on? We'll wait a few more moments. Okay, so our Facebook, with our Facebook with the live is about like 20 seconds delayed. So we'll wait for a few moments. All right, we've got Cha here. Okay, I'm gonna put Cha. All right. Anybody else? Let's see. So again, this is for Merced, folks. Anybody else? All right. Let's see. Just keep coming on, everybody. I'm looking up here, see if there's anybody else. Okay. Seems like we only got 3 people. I thought we got 19 people on. So, okay. All right. Since we only have 3 people here, I'm going to do a raffle. Okay. So going once, going twice. If we don't see people on from Merced County putting in their name, we have Ma Vang. Okay, cool. All right, Ma, I'm going to put you here. Ma Vang, thank you. All right, who else? Let's see. Anybody else? Oh, yes, I know, Kat. Thank you so much. I apologize. We are really working on trying to figure this out with also our folks who are joining us from outside of California and outside of Merced County. So apologize. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Rong có một plau lên sư. Giờ hata mình nhau hulu luôn trong Merced. Me sang me luôn de cho họ raffle nó de cho me luôn de cho họ comments na. Okay. De chimote là hát de cũng cho le spin wheels na. Okay. Cho một cho lên nó de cũng mà spin wheel. Để sẽ ý rằng gì na. Okay. Okay. Chimo le từ de cũng spin wheel. Thế từ TE winner nó để giờ chú ý nữa để chú ý cái những tàu in ra để thọ cho có luôn để cho biết like contact form that's on the comments, okay? Để bên mà le hú con á, thật cái nan ra ni nhau lu ta là từ, okay? Okay. Để chú bên lên sau cái chẳng xuyên gì cho nó sẽ có một lượt từ chỉnh tổ tập nó cho bộ luôn để họ, okay? Chumole từ là để cú số chữ chỉ để cho chumole từ để cú spell wheel nữa e a b lao g, okay, dùng có chumole từ là để cú spell wheel y rằng gì nữa, okay. Oh. Hold on, let's remove the blank. I think that's probably a good one. Okay, 잠깐 spell rằng gì? Chơi rằng gì sẽ không được lời. Okay, all right, chúng mình từ lời spell ra. All right, Okay, we gotta remove that. Okay, this time, third time's a charm. Okay. Okay, yay. So mà cái giờ từ yên khó năm ra nó nè, okay. You chủ nhau hữu mercy đó, okay. Giờ ta cái nhau hữu mercy để cái sẽ tổ năm ra nó nè. Biết tu cho hữu cái comments có link lại nè. Để see giờ ta có cho có comment cho put it on YouTube. I think more came from YouTube, okay. Để mà giờ ta có chỉ put lại tại contact form đó để có nông được cái lúc Facebook lần đó tao là có hú chụp bé là tao hết để bé mà lên sang hoặc contact form cho con á, ok. Để cụ cho con cho một tí chút cụ nữa để ổn định bé sau nó như bao để bé tháo tay rồi ha cụ tới khi tại nó sang cổ hạ áp bé phải lưu trú từ cam COVID cái chỗ nó nữa, ok. Tại nó mà từ mà nó mà chuyện chuyện cho bé mong thành công đầu hiện là họ để bé yếu chủ帮地台yếu chủ cái chủ hoặc là từ các món nó rồi chẳng, ok. Để cứ yếu mong plong về nó cho mẹ ấy cũng帮mẹ cũng mẹ地台mẹ chính hành ha mẹ cho phong như ha mẹ cho cái tin à, ok. Tiền ra email thì hoặc là get vaccinated, ok. Tại tao hoặc là yếu chủ mong chăm chua nè, ok. Có政府nó nữa tu cho trai lưu sĩ cho chuộc thị thái tu cam mò của về cái chỗ nó là cho chuộc nó mà những rong ha những sĩ tàu tại sao nó để cho chuộc nó những thị thái tàu tu cam mò của về cái chỗ nó bằng thị thái tàu để cho chi phí nè for nó, ok. Để họ ta mẹ sáng mong chăm chuộc để cho chi phí for để rong cần gọi là để họ tận đến nó thì họ ta cái sáng chăm chút để có yếu chủ hạ cái tu là cái tuần sai một số cái luôn về trong đời lưu website nó của vaccinemercedcounty.com nè, ok. Thọ bố cho cái luôn về trong đời họ là thọ yếu cái tí để bố mà lên số ít là email cho con á để mà họ ta cóตัวต่อไปลูกคลินิกน้อยไปví dụ tiền lúc cho con lúc tôi sản xuất nó, ok. Để họ tận đến nó thì họ ta có một lúc nóng để có hỗ trợ Merced County Public Health nữa là Merced lúc cho kiến nó càng hào hữu để từ sở đông hỗ trợ bộ thì họ sống cho để ý sống bố khi Monday to Friday khi gì tính sản xuất một chỗ chỉ tính trong luôn nữa. They know they have to wear a mask na yếu chủ luôn lãnh đạo bỏ khẩn trương ha khẩn đạo nhưng mong từ là yếu chủ luôn lãnh đạo của ban thị thái yếu của yếu cho ngủ cho mong cho các mong nó gần cho yếu lu khẩn đạo là yếu lu khẩn trương na, ok. Cái bên nó thì họ ta wash your hands often tại tao ta yếu chủ chỗ thì còn đâu ra nữa thời gian rồi thế mà yếu chuẩn rồi là biết theo second và biết theo phép nữa cho một lên cái dạng như chỉ rồi thế nên đâu ra là phải yếu chủ lúc trước chỉ là rồi thế ít ra yếu tại môn trao chỉ có lúc chỉ là rồi thế ít ra gì phải ok thì yếu chủ rồi thế đâu ra hình nữa cái plan nó thì ta stay 6 feet from others and avoid crowds nó thì ta yếu chủ nhỏ trong cái cho phi nè cho phi đời lên đời cho tuân hình nè, ok. Trong một khách cho cái mua cho tuân hình tiếp trong đó yếu chủ cảnh phang như cho như bao đại như một chính hình tiếp trong phố optic party lo như sáng mong công phố đó là yếu chủ nhỏ chế ban thị thái yếu khen ha ban thị thái như cho chính hình ha như cho không như chính ha như cho nên trang nè, ok. Để但是呢để họ COVID nó mình yêu chủ sự lời bằng thị thái ha sĩ số dạng của bằng thị thái to chỉ cho một gì để họ chơi một phần cái trong bỏ khẩn nhau ha không chỉ tầm lesson để tất cả nó để cố yếu cho ít lại video cho mình á có video nói do luôn ta luôn Merced County Human Service Agency bố yo hạ áp cái họ lu mong chúng mình hạ chú khó khâu về cái chỗ nó hơn nữa, ok để tới là
nhớ rằng Columbia hùa tung hiong sở chếใน Merced County có bị có chua lúc họ bảo sẽ tung tua nhớ nên mua luôn nâng cho từ cá mò có bị có chua thọ hù cho từ sẽ tung đời nó bên mua ninh hay luôn mong ở chỗ là ba tên này cho luôn nâng cho từ cá mò có bị có chua lúc họ bảo sẽ tung khi thực cho nâng Monday cho Friday y mong sinh cho chỉ mong trong đủ nhớ nên nữ cho tu chính sự cho cái trái lý cho là xin nữ cho yêu cầu tu cá mò có bị có chua lý cha bây giờ tết chỉ tao vì bây giờ tu chính sự là cứ không mò thọ hụt từ sự tung để nó Merced County cũng mua ý website là kia cho tu cá mò có bị có chua sáu sự có bị có chua thiết trồng phụ cho trái chia trừ xì lon để có bị có chua mua sai website nhớ trong đó giờ này xã tại email lon để Merced County có bị có chua thọ cho nên từ email cho sở cho các dân dài sở to thọ nên mua hậu website chỉ ta nên để Merced County cùng đó cho Optum Serve nếu có khi tao ý lúc chờ qua có bị có chua nhớ cho tàu Merced County Fairground khi hôm Monday cho Friday khi mong sinh cho khi mong trong tu lúc chờ qua có bị có chua chỉ yếu nhẹ đó là yếu chỉ tàu hồ sơ tông là chỉ mua hậu website mua tàu về thiết từng appointment ổn định này yếu mua qua thọ sau cho đâu nữa nó chia 我知我那整到了晒的 video 那天，他个那些的那干样糊，我知。
ok tôi cho Merced County Human Service Agency nữa mình chỉ ở tại video nó cho biết cho biết sinh ha còn cái nó sang ha ở cái phần gì ha National Merced County Public Health của chính cha tôi này phát lên nu oi to contract tracer tôi này nó như yo bang cha cho tôi này cứ tu kỳ tu nó lại bây giờ để bang cha cho tôi này hỏi sẽ bố kỳ tao cái chỗ tôi này ha bố dùng cái bố contact tracer bây giờ ta yo how làm cái contact tracer để bố trace cho tôi này cái tao có mò ha bố tao kịp cái chỗ tôi này mò là ha and then also bố collect the data nè the data nó để bố yêu cầu mình cho public health mà lên bao or tích cực programs rồi帮chơi của thì thái tàu từ cam on ok thì ta nói bố trình trả thông tin phát hiện ở chỗ thì họ thì ta nếu interested để thọ mình phụ cho bé cái mà lại job like flyer cho mình họ khác mình chỉ cho mình ta nói giờ ta mình sang bao từ họ flyer cho mình cho mình nhận được cái mà lại khác cho mình ta nói ok share cái screen nó thì cái flyer nó mình cho mình nó ok thì cái flyer này cho mình nó ok thì có là bố now hiring contact tracers you to meet the minimum requirements nó must receive or exhausted unemployment benefits you to bố halu mẹ là mong ha you to tốt là high school degree you to tốt 1 year customer service ha you to tốt lại license chẳng luôn ok thì giờ anh sáng apply cho có job nó là họ hơi nó về lúc sau tôi nó ở sông châu像 upload ở ý sử dụng nè ok ok thì cũng chỉ bán cho một bảo cho cô ha giờ ta có sáng volunteer nó để bây giờ trả cho tôi này cứ volunteer cho hà nội mong là kêu bây giờ trả cho tôi này được bán volunteer cho cái ta nói để cho vaccine clinic nó với những việc trả tôi này trong cuộc bán tàu cái cho mong lo hết kêu ta nói cho một tôi này trong lu pampo lu sau đây là giờ ta register là pampo cho lu một sang chỗ để dự trình trả cho tôi này lu pa để biết trả tận cho everybody cho tôi tôi kể bạn nên chú ý vấn đề ha giờ ta mình mua được từ sáng volunteer để cho mình show tại email cho bé ha một cho cái Facebook cho ha cho bé bao nè okay để ta nói để hà nó sư ha cái tu thằng trai rồi ha để họ rằng cái gì ha ở trong mình trình độ cùng bé mong muốn gì ở bản thì lần này nó để cái chắc ở ý tại video trong lên non gì video nói thì giờ mong culture ha talent nữa để thọ rằng gì ha giờ ta cú hello mong chỉ mình bất chấp ha có tất chỉ tại sao nó để trình hiểu của bang của hello tao mong mà lẽ bây giờ thì mà lẽ xin chỉ tốt nè okay để ở trong đó bye everybody thank you so much for being here appreciate it we'll see you guys all in 2 weeks all right